Executive Astorino. If you could say good morning to him, we're very lucky to have him come and celebrate World Read Aloud and Dr. Seuss's birthday with us.
Hi, everybody. Did you make those hats?
Yeah.
All right. Did anyone make me a hat?
No. We're sorry.
I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm gonna make it.
We're sorry.
Oh, the teachers. How are you? So you ready to read a book? Yeah. So have you read a lot of Dr. Seuss?
Yeah.
Which is your favorite?
The Cat in the Hat.
Cat in the Hat. That's pretty cool, right? Which one? Green eggs and ham. Ready? Raise your hand if you had green eggs and ham for breakfast today. Yeah. All right. You had green eggs and ham for breakfast? All right, so who is ready for a book? All right. How old is everybody? You know how old I am? I'm 10. I look like a big child, I do. All right, who wants to read The Curious Garden? Hey, ready? There once was a city without gardens or trees or greenery of any kind. Most people spent their time indoors. As you can imagine, it was a very dreary place. However, there was one boy who loved being outside, even on drizzly days. While everyone else stayed inside, you could always find Liam happily splashing through his neighborhood. It was on such morning that Liam made several surprising discoveries. He was wandering around the old railway, and he did from time to time, when he stumbled upon a dark stairwell leading up to the tracks. The railway had stopped working ages ago. And since Liam had always wanted to explore the tracks, there was only one thing for the curious boy to do. Liam ran up the stairs, pushed open the door, and stepped out onto the railway. The first thing he saw was a lonely patch of color. Wildflowers and plants were the last thing he expected to find up there. But when he took a closer look, it became clear that the plants were dying. They needed a gardener. Liam may not have been a gardener, but he knew that he could help. So he returned to the railway the very next day and got to work. The flowers nearly drowned, and he had a few pruning problems, but the plants patiently waited while Liam found better ways of gardening. As the weeks rolled by, Liam began to feel like a real gardener, and the plants began to feel like a real garden. Now, most gardens stay in one place, but this was no ordinary garden. With miles of open railway ahead of it, the garden was growing restless. It wanted to explore. The tough little weeds and mosses were the first to move. They popped up farther and farther down the tracks and were closely followed by the more delicate plants. Now, over the next few months, Liam and the Curious Garden explored every corner of the railway. Look at that. Starting to grow all over. Look at that. Well, after spending his spring and summer and autumn with the garden, Liam's time on the railway was finally interrupted by winter. Look at all that snow. Heavy blankets of snow fell on the city that season, and for the first time since he'd become a gardener, Liam could not visit his plants. Rather than waste his winter worrying about the garden, Liam spent it preparing for spring. And after 3 cold months of snow, the snow finally began to melt, and Liam rolled his new gardening gear over to the railway. Now, winter had taken a toll on the garden, but thanks to Liam's planning, his handy new tools, and a little help from the sun, the plants soon awoke from their winter sleep. The garden had always wanted to explore the rest of the city, and that spring it was finally ready to make its move. Once again, the tough little weeds and mosses were set out first. They popped up farther and farther from the railway and were closely followed by the more delicate plants. Well, the garden was especially curious about that old, forgotten thing, a car. A few plants popped up where they didn't belong. See, that's a stop sign. Ever see plants on a stop sign?
No.
Others mysteriously popped up all at once. But the most surprising things that popped up were the new gardeners. Look at that, on top of buildings, and down steps, and in the water, and that's on an elephant and a giraffe. Well, many years later, the entire city had blossomed. But of all the new gardens, Liam's favorite was where it all began. See that? Isn't that a great story? So Liam started something, right? He saw something there, he started it, and then what happened? He improved it, exactly. And then he got to come back and look at all his hard work. And that's what you're doing, right? In school every day?
Yeah.
Little by little, you're reading and you're learning math and everything else, and by the end of the year, you're going to be very much improved, right? That's what school is. And you're having fun?
Yeah.
So when did you make Dr. Seuss's hats?
Today.
Just now?
Yes, after now.
I don't get a hat. Can I have a hat from somebody?
Okay.
Somebody give him a hat and you can make another one later.
Can I borrow your hat?
I could give you mine.
I'm just going to borrow your hat, just to put it on for a second. Does it fit? How does your hat fit my head?
Because you're 10 years older.
You're right, because I'm 10.
You're so smart.
What's your
10
name?
years old? Yeah.
Joseph. All right.
How is it?
So everyone having fun in school?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many days a week do they have library?
2 times. They come in 2 times a week.
2 times a week? And you get to read?
Yeah.
Isn't reading fun?
Yeah.
And so there's Spanish language here, right?
Yes.
¿Quién aquí habla español? Wow.
Quiet, guys.
¿En sus casas sus padres hablan español?
Sí.
Y aquí hablan inglés, ¿sí?
No.
Sí. Who's rolling her R's? Sure. Okay. Who wants to ask some questions? Preguntas. Yes. What's your name? Tell me your name. Vanessa. And let me guess your age, Vanessa. You are 24. No? Hold on, I'm gonna get it. You're 43? How old?
8.
Okay. So what's your question?
What is your job like? What are you supposed to do?
What am I supposed to? That's a good question. So who has heard what a county executive is? Yeah, I don't even know. A county executive. Who hears of what a mayor is, or a governor, or a president? Okay. So a president, or a governor, or a mayor, they run the government, right? The president is the whole country, the governor is the whole state, or a mayor is the city or the town. And so the county executive is like that, run the government for the county. So we all live in what county? Westchester. Greenburgh is the town that you live in, and Westchester is the county that you live in. And what state do we live in?
New York.
New York, right. So that's what a county executive does, and then we have to worry about the police and our health and all the things that we do, like roads and bridges that have to get fixed. I know. So we have to do those kind of things. Yes, what's your name?
I saw
Kendall, okay.
I saw three all in the same tree, but
Maybe Liam will plant a garden in those.
I think it was around here,
Mm-hmm.
but it never got fixed, and I think it might be dangerous because a person
Yeah. Kendall had a good question. She saw 3 potholes. You know what a pothole is? In the road? 3 potholes on the same street, and it hasn't been fixed. Now it's a little complicated because a lot of the streets are the town. So the town has to fix those. The county has some highways and some other big roads that we have to fix. It's a lot of different complications, and the state has some roads. But if you tell me where it is, we're going to make sure it gets fixed. All right? Yes, what's your name?
My name's Haley.
Kaylee? Okay.
So I imagine that I have this dog, and we just always do plants together. And
Yeah.
I want it to become 2. Would you want it to become 2 too?
For what?
For like a dog and just like having plants all
Yeah.
over your house. And
Who has a dog here? Wow, you have a puppy that's going to be a dog.
a puppy.
We have a dog too. We have a dog. We've got a little dog. Bella, how do you know that? So we have a dog named Bella. It's a little Shih Tzu.
Oh my God, I have a Shih
You have a Shih Tzu? What's your dog's name?
No, a Poodle.
Oh, okay. So what other question do you have?
Do you want back here with me?
Yes, who's...
Stand up so we can see you, honey.
Is it hard being the executive?
Is it hard being the county executive? Some days it really is, and some days it's a lot more fun. Like this is fun. This is great. But some days we've got to deal with some bad stuff. Like today we might deal with trees that are falling down and causing problems, or power being knocked out because of the high winds or bad weather. We've had to deal with plane crashes and train crashes, car accidents. We've had to deal with all those kind of
Bus
things.
crashes?
What's that?
Bus crashes?
Bus crashes. Yeah, so those are not fun days. Yes. Who's got a question? Yep. What's your name? What's your name? Solomon. What's your question? Am I more important than the mayor? Depends on who the mayor is. No, we all have a job to do. We just have different jobs and different areas, but it's all hard and important. Yeah. Did I ever meet the president? Yes. So I've met President Trump. I met President Obama. I met President Bush. Yeah. In fact, 2 years ago, President Obama flew into Westchester. And so I had the opportunity to greet him, which was a big honor, and it was a lot of fun. And I have a picture. Have I met Hillary? I have, and she lives in Westchester. Do I work for the government? Yes. Now, who knows what the government is? Who's going to help me answer that? You have no idea, okay. What's the government? Yep.
Oh, the government is like a civilization that takes care of all the places that, like, we help someone take care of a certain thing.
Yep, so government is our system by the people, right? We all are in charge of our government. We all are part of our government. And our government is ourselves, right? Our parents and everybody. And we create a system that we live by. Laws, right? Our parents pay taxes. They give money from what they earn so we can do the things that we need to do, like schools, like the protection we get from our police, like the health Like when we're talking about roads and bridges, they have to be fixed, so we have to pay for those. And we represent, or we elect people to represent us, right? So our Congress people, our mayors, our county executives, our council members, our school board members, they represent and make decisions on our behalf. That's called a republic form of government, or a democracy. And that's what we do, and that's the kind of system that we have in America, which is great, because everyone has the same rights. We all have to live under the law, but that's not the case in some countries in the world, right? Where you have dictators and they decide what you'll do and how you'll do it, and you have a lot of problems. But this country, we have our own problems, but we also have a lot of our benefits. But ultimately, it's all the people that have to decide. So let me take another couple questions. Yep. What Dr. Seuss book have I read? Is that what you said? This one? Made by Dr. Seuss? Well, my favorite was always The Cat in the Hat. I did love that. Green Eggs and Ham was always a lot of fun. But there was a lot of books. Are You My Mother? Which was always a fun book, right? With the bird. And there's so many different Cat in the Hat books and Dr. Seuss books that are always fun to read, and you always remember them. Even when you're kids and you learn, and then when you're an adult, you remember when you were a kid and when mom and dad read the book to you. So reading is really important. Who likes to read here? Good. Well, reading is very, very important. So make sure you keep reading and keep listening to your teachers. Okay, so who didn't ask a question yet? We have time for a couple more. Did you ask a question? You did, right? What's your name? No, you. Did you want to ask it? No? Okay. Have I what? Have I ever been on the news? A couple times. Yes.
My dad is a gardener, and when his job is to fix things.
Yep.
Like he works in Green Jay, and sometimes he fixes gardens. Like when at one time I came to his job to play, but then I saw something, so he said put the plant there. So I
You had to do a little work, right?
Uh-huh.
That's good. You learned. Today's probably a busy day for him. There's a lot of things falling down, and you got to start planting for the spring, right? Who else? Did you ask a question? No. Okay.
What is your job when are you like the most important is are you in a group with the president and you're the have like meetings with them?
Well, we do have meetings sometimes with the White House or Congress because it affects us here in Westchester, or maybe in Albany, which is the state capital, right? With the governor or the state senators or assembly people, because it all affects everybody. You know, what they do in Washington will affect us here, or what they do in Albany will affect us here. Just like what we do here in Westchester affects everybody. And we want to make sure every voice is heard, and we try to do the best we can. So let me see. Who has not asked a question yet? Yep.
Do you have any friends?
Do I have any friends? Raise your hand if you're my friend. See? Yes, I do have a lot of friends. In fact, I have friends still today from when I was your age. So just think, some of the people that you're friends with now, you may be friends with when you're like really old. Yes. What's that? Do we help the homeless? Absolutely. That's one of our jobs. For people who are struggling, people who may not be able to afford food or not be in a house for whatever reason, that's one of the things that we have to be concerned about, and one of the things that we do in the county. And the nice thing is that we've had a big decrease, about 40%, which is a lot of people less homeless. So we're finding them homes for good, permanent homes, so they can get their lives back together. But you know, there's different things in life where sometimes people, there might be a fire in their house, they might lose a job, or some bad things happen to them where they don't have a home or they can't afford a home, and that's when we have to help them. And we do. That's a good question. Okay, let me, yep.
Do you have any kids?
Do I have any kids? I do. So I'm 10.
Are you?
My wife and I have 3 kids. We have a 13-year-old boy, a 12-year-old girl, and a 7-year-old girl. So how old are you? So my youngest daughter is in 2nd grade.
Calling out. Guys, we only have time for one more question.
One more question. Oh, who can raise their hand the highest? Let's see.
Come on, right there.
How old am I? You really want to know? You really want? All right. How old? Well, I've got to ask 3 people to take a guess. So you take a guess. How old do you think I am? 51. How old do you think I am? 27. And 47? All right. 47, 51, and 49. You are all very, very close. I am 49. But, who has a birthday in May?
Me.
You have a birthday in May? All right, so
Guys,
May
gotta keep the noise
3rd.
down.
May 3rd is my birthday, and I'll be 50. First of all, I want to thank...
Okay, no.
What do we say
We have one speaker.
to County Executive Astorino?
I want to thank all of you for letting me come to Hillside to read to you. And I want to thank you for being good students. And I hope you have a great year and enjoy your 2nd grade, okay? 3rd grade too, 2nd and 3rd grade. So thank you for letting me come, okay? It was nice to come to read to the children today, and I love this age because I have a child. My daughter is in 2nd grade, so 2nd and 3rd graders, a lot of fun to read. And it's so important, especially for parents, read to your kids at night. I try every night to read a book to them, let them read when they can, but that's what they're going to learn, and you're going to have great memories too.
I'd like to thank our library media specialist, Ms. Tracy Wong, for organizing County Executive Robert Astorino coming in to read to about 1/3 of our building this morning. He read a story to the kids, talked a little bit about Dr. Seuss because it is his birthday. He talked about some of his favorite Dr. Seuss books, but most importantly, he stressed how important it is to read. And I think it was really awesome for the kids to see and hear from someone in a government position like county executive that he reads. And he reads to his children, and he loves reading, and it sort of motivates them to read as well. So I would call it a win-win. And we were, we were very happy to have him, and we just keep on doing great things here at Highview. Thank you.
So today was World Read Aloud Day and Dr. Seuss's birthday. We were so honored to have Westchester County Executive Astorino come in for a visit. He did an inspirational reading to the kids, and they had a chance to ask questions to better understand the government. What was really nice and I think heartwarming for a lot of the kids was he spoke to them in Spanish. So not only did he model and show how important reading and literacy is in their lives in order to get where they want, but he also was able to relate to the kids, and we were so honored to have him.